is a war on equals. FBI got a file on me. Too many changes in the land of the free. Now if we make our plea, set all drug offenders free. FBI got a file on you. Think they don't, but they goddamn do.
And engineering of human, animal, and plant life. They are also developing chemical, bacteriological, and psychological weaponry, as well as tectonic and climate weaponry. How does the Committee of 300 justify their monstrous acts of evil? Their common philosophy is that the end justifies the means, no matter how diabolical. That end is to fulfill their biblical covenant using apocalyptic weaponry for an eternal throne and one world empire. Was the timely earthquake in Iran triggered by natural causes or by man-made causes? In the late 1800s, Serbian-American inventor Nikola Tesla developed tectonic weaponry capable of triggering earthquakes. He claimed the technology could split the earth in half with the press of a button. Tesla sold the patents for his earthquake technology to U.S. weapons manufacturer Westinghouse in 1885. Today, the U.S. military controls and uses the technology at their high-frequency active auroral research project called HAARP, located at Gakona, Alaska. In his book, Angels Don't Play This HAARP, Dr. Nick Begich claims the U.S. military has developed tectonic and climate weaponry that can trigger earthquakes, manipulate weather systems, and cause floods, droughts, and hurricanes that threaten the economies of other nations. HAARP's vast installations of antenna towers zap the sky's protective ionosphere with an electromagnetic beam, creating extremely low-frequency radio waves called ELF waves. These ELF waves bounce back to Earth as plasma balls. This tectonic weaponry can be more lethal than any of America's most powerful nuclear weapons. Only one nation in the world has been insane enough to drop atomic weapons of mass destruction on the innocent populations of 2 large Japanese cities, chemical weapons of mass destruction on innocent civilians in Vietnam, and depleted radioactive uranium weapons of mass destruction on the people of Iraq. Like the pharaohs of ancient Egypt who built their empire with the help of a grand vizier, Queen Elizabeth II also has a grand vizier who serves as her most trusted advisor. His name is Lord Evelyn Rothschild, and he is the second wealthiest and most powerful person on earth. He is also Lord of the world's financial capital, the city-state of London. Lord Rothschild and his ring of power hide their identities behind 13 city council members who stand in as their representatives. On November 30th, 2000, Lord Rothschild, now in his 70s, got married in London to a wealthy Zionist businesswoman named Lynn Forrester. The couple then jetted to Washington and spent their wedding night in the White House. Just months before 9/11, they moved to New York and settled into their 18th floor luxury palace at River House, where 2 private terrorists offered them front row seats for the scheduled 911 show. Just how rich and powerful is Lord Evelyn Rothschild? Historically, the Rothschild family wealth was hidden in underground vaults. The Rothschild secret financial records were never audited and never accounted for. Their family commissioned biographies give the illusion that their family fortune has dwindled, but researchers estimate their wealth at close to $500 trillion, more than half the wealth of the entire world. Besides their many castles, palace mansions, wineries, racehorses, and exotic resorts, the Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. Until recently, they owned and operated England's Royal Mint and continue to be the gold agent for the Bank of England, which they also direct. They control the LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, where 30 to 42 million ounces of gold worth over $11 billion are traded daily. The Rothschilds earn millions weekly just on transaction fees alone. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs. Over the centuries, the Rothschilds have amassed trillions of dollars worth of gold bullion in their subterranean vaults and have cornered the world's gold supply. They own controlling interest in the world's largest oil company, Royal Dutch Shell. They operate phony charities and offshore banking services where the wealth of the black nobility in the Vatican is hidden in secret accounts at Rothschild Swiss banks, trusts, and holding companies. Although Evelyn Rothschild looks like a harmless gray-haired old man, make no mistake about it, Rothschild and his ancestors have handpicked presidents, crashed stock markets, bankrupted nations, orchestrated wars, and sponsored the mass murder and impoverishment of millions. The wealth hoarded by this one family alone could feed, clothe, and shelter every human being on earth. How did Evelyn Rothschild become the filthy rich Grand Vizier to Queen Elizabeth II and godfather of the black nobility? By birth, Evelyn Rothschild is the great-great-great-grandson of Mayer Rothschild and is passing the godfathership down to David de Rothschild. Their story begins in 18th century Frankfurt, Germany, on a cobblestone street called Frankfurt on the Main. Mayer Amschel Bauer was a goldsmith and a loan shark. He hung a red hexagram shield over his doorway and changed his name from Bauer to Rothschild, which means red shield in German. The red hexagram shield was the symbol for the world revolutionary movement. Family biographers described Mayer Rothschild as a poor man who lived with his family above his goldsmith shop and sold rare coins to royal customers. Contrary to appearances, Mayer stashed a big supply of gold, precious coins, and jewels in special hiding places inside his house. One special hiding place was beneath the back courtyard, where he accessed his strongbox through an underground passageway. Mayer taught his 5 sons the tricks of the trade. To them, he wasn't just their father, he was their lord and master. To them, he was Lord Mayer. In 1773, Mayer Rothschild invited 12 wealthy, revolutionary-minded men to his goldsmith shop. Together, they formulated a plan to seize control of the world's wealth. They made a pact to secretly pool their money and influence to bankrupt the nations of the world and create a new world order. Using his connections, Mayer